Okay, the next word is holy. Holy means dedicated or consecrated to God or a religious purpose. It means sacred. And I would say if there's any word that's lost its shiny in the English language, it's probably the word holy, right? Not many people seem to long to be holy. As a matter of fact, it's sometimes used as a derogatory instead of a blessing or something that you aim for, right? Can't you just hear somebody going, she's so holy? You know, like just who would want to be that? Well, picture this if you will. What if we lived in a world where gentleness always wins over bullying? Where friendship always wins over disputing? Where forgiveness always wins over bitterness? Where fidelity always wins over temptations? Where faithfulness always wins over betrayal? Where joyfulness always wins over grumpiness? Where sincerity always wins over sarcasm? Where love always wins over indifference? Where peace always wins over anxiety? Where kindness always wins over mean-spiritedness? And where patience always wins over hurry? Would that be an attractive world to you? That, my sisters, is holiness. That's a picture of holiness. That is going deeper and deeper into the heart of God. Holiness is not the way you wear your hair, even though some groups say that wearing your hair a certain way makes you holy, or the length of your skirt. God may convict you if you're showing a little too much skin and what it might be inciting in others, but it's not the length of your skirt that makes you holy. It's what's inside that makes you holy, and hopefully then it shows on the outside, right? Holiness is being transformed by God's own love in order to have that same love in our hearts to love others. You can read about it in the Pope's latest encyclical. Go on to the Vatican website. It's awesome. Holiness is going deeper with God. In the book of Ezekiel, once again, in chapter 47, 1 through 9, we read about a mysterious guide that in a vision brings the prophet Ezekiel into the temple where God is. And then we see this flow of trickle of water that comes out from underneath the threshold, and that's God's Spirit. So I'm going to read this to you, and just close your eyes and just picture this, if you will. Then he brought me back to the entrance of the temple, and there I saw water flowing out from under the threshold of the temple toward the east. When he continued eastward with a measuring cord in his hand, he measured off 1,000 cubits, and he had me wade through the water. It was ankle deep. He measured off another 1,000 cubits, and once more he made me wade through the water. It was up to my knees. He measured another 1,000 cubits and had me wade through the water. It was up to my waist. Once more he measured off 1,000 cubits. Now it was a river. I could not wade across. The water had risen so high, I would have to swim. The river was impassable. He said to me, this water flows out to the eastern district. It runs down into the Araba, and empties into the polluted waters of the sea to freshen them. Wherever it flows, the river teems with every kind of living creature. Fish will abound. Where these waters flow, they refresh everything. Everything lives where the river goes. All right, you can open your eyes. This is a powerful picture of increasing progress in our spiritual life. It's a progress that's supposed to take place. It goes from ankles to knees to waist to a depth where we can't even touch the bottom. And that's where Jesus called Peter. Right? Come out into the deep, duc and altum. But it's where we're intended to go. Now, it may not happen overnight, but it's to be a journey. It's where we're intended to go deeper and deeper with the Lord. We shouldn't stop until we're swimming with Him in over our heads. Has God ever asked you to come on and you've been so hesitant because you think, that's way beyond my comfort zone? Well, guess what? God is calling you into the deep and saying, trust me, I will carry you. I will carry you. And we will swim together in the deep. We read this and hopefully we feel a calling to go into the deep. And we shouldn't stop until we are swimming. God does not need smarter people or more capable people. God needs deeper people. God needs holy people. In Mark's gospel, when we read about the crucifixion, we see that there were women. Different gospel accounts give different stories, basically kind of different perspectives. And Mark's talks about there was a lot of women that came to Jerusalem to follow Jesus. But there was a group that followed at a distance. Are you one of those gals? Have you followed Jesus at a really safe distance? I pray that today He's calling you to come closer, to view Him, to allow Him to bring revival in your heart, to bring holiness. The word courage in the Latin originally comes from the word heart or core. It takes heart. It takes courage to be holy. But here is what C.S. Lewis said, and he's one of my all-time favorite authors. In Mere Christianity, he writes this: "Give me all. I don't want so much of your time and so much of your money and so much of your work. I want you. I've not come to torment your natural self, but to kill it. No half measures are any good. I don't want to cut off a branch here and a branch there. I want to have the whole tree down. I don't want to dull the tooth or crown it or stop it, but to have it out. Hand over the whole natural self, all the desires which you think innocent as well as those you think wicked, the whole outfit, and I will give you a new self instead. In fact, I will give you myself. My own will shall become yours." The terrible thing is this: the almost impossible thing is to hand over our whole self, all our wishes and all our precautions to Christ. But it is far easier than what we are all trying to do instead. For what we are trying to do is to remain what we call ourselves, to keep personal happiness as our greatest aim in life, and yet, at the same time, to be good. We are trying to let our mind and heart go their way, centered on money or pleasure or ambition, and hoping, in spite of this, to behave honestly and chastely and humbly. And that is precisely what Christ warned us that we could not do. He said, "A thistle cannot produce figs." It's hard, but the sort of compromise that we are all hankering after in this life is harder. In fact, it's impossible. It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. We are like eggs at present, and you cannot go on indefinitely just being an ordinary, decent egg. We must be hatched or go bad. So God is teaching me what matters is that I learn to will one thing, His will. That I learn to be simple, with singleness of heart, to be pure, which brings freedom and joy, and holy, allowing myself to swim in the deep with Him, so that He can transform my heart to be able to be like His and able to love others like He does. To be what Jesus would have me to be, and nothing more. Because in the end, nothing else is needed. So when you get spun, things don't go your way, plans turn out not as you thought, life hands you a crushing blow, can you say, "Dear Lord, with simplicity of heart, I joyfully offer everything to you. Father, take my hand and lead me into the deep and make me holy like you." And see what God does with that. So our quick check question on that is what I'm doing bringing me closer to God or leading me further away from him? Is this action bringing me closer to God or leading me further away? I'm going to close with a story, and then we're going to have a drawing for the basket and the cross. But this is a true story, and I heard it this summer in Colorado when I was out there for school. And it was a priest who said there was a young boy, he was about 14, who had a sore on his tongue. And it turned out tragically to be a very aggressive form of cancer. And they tried all kinds of treatments and it didn't work. And so he'd gone back to the doctor, and he could tell as soon as he walked in the door that the doctor had bad news. And his parents weren't even in the room yet. And the boy said, "Doctor, just tell it to me straight. I want to know what's going on." And the doctor was kind of caught off guard, and he said, "Well, the truth is, it's spread. And to save your life, we're going to have to remove your tongue." And instead of getting upset, the little boy just said, "Well, if that's what you got to do, then let's do it." The doctor was so amazed. He couldn't believe this little boy's attitude. He hadn't even seen it in an adult. He thought, my goodness, he just is so trusting. And he just embraced the situation just like that. He had such fortitude and resolve. When it came to time to perform the surgery, the doctor called his parents into the room, and he said, "Son, these will be the last words that you'll be able to speak with your tongue. So what would you like to say?" And the doctor later told this priest that a lot of people, are upset or crying, or they say to the doctor, "Thank you for saving my life," or "Please just remember what my voice sounded like," or they would tell their family how much they love them. But the little boy just simply opened his mouth and said, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus." And those were the last words on his lips. Spoken. Well, the surgeon was so taken back. He really didn't know what to do or say. And after the surgery, the little boy had to come back several times with his parents. And the surgeon said the little boy continued just this incredible journey. And he asked his parents one day, he said, "I've never seen anything like this." And the parents explained that it was because of his beautiful faith in God. It so affected the doctor that the doctor joined the church. Simple, pure, holy. May our simple, pure, holy, childlike faith not only bring revival in us, but affect the world. May the others see it and be drawn to Jesus Christ because of it. May you all encounter that and walk hand in hand with Jesus on this journey. All right, so I'm going to give you 1 minute. Just take 1 minute and look at your questions.